Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now September 1st of 2021. Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars universe seems to be quite expansive, not just with their books, novels, comics, and video games, but we also have a load of Star Wars TV shows and movies that are also set to be announced by this November into early next year, as well as over at Star Wars Celebration of next year. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, if you guys would like to go ahead and check me out at Mike01 on Twitter, you guys can go ahead and do so if you would like to. Now, we're in a very interesting moment right now because both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are doing a lot of things in order to really bring Star Wars back on track. They're already very busy as we know it with The Mandalorian Season 3, the Book of Boba Fett, the Ahsoka Tano series, and we got Deborah Chow doing amazing things with the Kenobi TV series starring Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen once more. So, a lot of changes are happening behind the scenes, of course, when it comes to this new expanded universe. Obviously, both Jon and Dave are really trying to bring things to life from the ground up. They really want to make sure that they can actually transfer tons of material from Star Wars Legends and throw that into the Disney canon and have it fit in with the current storyline to adjust it. Now, obviously, they want to make it as accurate as possible in comparison to what was done back in the 1990s and the early 2000s. However, Jon and Dave are currently on a mission in order to really bring back some of the many beloved characters from Star Wars Legends. Of course, we've talked about this before in the past, that Mara Jade is going to be a big deal in the mandoverse. Alright, we're not just talking about Season 3, but we're also talking about all of the TV shows that connect to the Mandalorian, since Mando is being used as a foundation, if you will. Pretty much the trunk of a tree, you can think about it like that, with it branching out to new TV shows. So, with that being said, of course, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are developing their new Star Wars shows, such as Star Wars Ahsoka and even The Mandalorian Season 3, it's best explained that currently both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are doing big things with the future of Star Wars that will forever change aspects of the sequel trilogy movies. Now, it's described that The Mandalorian Season 3 and 4, Jon and Dave are working towards ways to change how fans view the sequel trilogy movies. One major addition to future Star Wars stories is by exploring the lives of both Ben Solo and Mara Jade in the Mandoverse, and how new Star Wars lore is set to reset aspects of Luke Skywalker's past. Now, both Dave and Jon are about to create the backstory of Luke Skywalker's wife in the Star Wars universe that is said to eventually lead to her demise by the hands of Ben Solo, in a very similar way to how Mara Jade died in the Star Wars Legends. Jon and Dave are set to use Ben Solo as a big reason as to why Luke Skywalker went into exile that has to do, of course, with the death of his wife at his Jedi training temple. Now, this big change is actually set to be made canon by mid-2022, when it will be explored in comics and books first, then eventually making its way into the form of live action to tell the story to the masses. So that's a very interesting strategy and approach there. Now, further, actress Karen Gillan is described to have a crucial role in the third season of The Mandalorian, and even bigger roles in future Star Wars TV shows that is actually described to be Disney and Lucasfilm's way of reforming the story of Ben Solo and Luke Skywalker's past, and how it's also going to deal with borrowing many aspects from Star Wars Legends to actually satisfy the fans. Now, on top of this, in addition to all of this, it's also noted that Dave and Jon are set to explore Luke Skywalker's Jedi students in depth, that is also set to bring in beloved character Kyle Katarn into the Mandoverse in the near future. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are not only taking stories from Legends books and comics, but also from fan-favorite video games as well. This will also lead to Luke Skywalker dealing with a younger version of Palpatine in the new Star Wars shows, starting with Mandalorian Season 3 and beyond, that have to deal with cloning that is said to have a massive impact on the sequel trilogy movies. Both Mara Jade and Luke Skywalker are also said to have a child in the new Star Wars lore that is going to essentially bring back the concept of Luke Skywalker's son that will be introduced in 2022 as well. However, Lucasfilm is aware that they cannot call the character Ben Skywalker, since they would add confusion with Ben Solo, so a name change is said to be currently discussed right now over at Lucasfilm. More about all of this will be unveiled at Star Wars Celebration in a surprising way for the fans to witness that is going to reset many aspects of the sequel movies. So I want to actually dive a little bit more into this because this is a very important addition to the Star Wars franchise. Obviously, Mara Jade is a beloved character. She's going to be a big deal in the future of the Star Wars universe. Mara Jade being portrayed by Karen Gillan, I always said this time and time again, that this is an excellent casting decision. She's been in Jumanji, she's been in the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, of course, you know, the Avengers movies. She has been pretty much rising as an actress, and this would only give her a different thing to experiment with when it comes to her acting career. Mara Jade is a very interesting and complex character based on how she evolves. She's first pretty much associated with the Empire as Palpatine's, you know, right-hand person to really deal with Luke Skywalker and others out there, to eventually creating this romance with Luke and eventually becoming his wife. I want to also dive into why this is so important as to how the Star Wars fans are going to react. Now, obviously this is going to be a way to get more positive feelings out of the Star Wars fandom. Obviously a lot of fans are pretty much in love with Star Wars Legends for multiple reasons. We all know why, right? It respects the character of Luke, it respects the Skywalker bloodline, something that really lacked in the sequel trilogy movies, sadly. And now we're in a very interesting position because both Mara Jade and Ben Solo are going to have a different past in comparison to what was done for Ben Solo in the sequel trilogy. They're going to kind of change things with that. You know, having his connection with Mara Jade's death and how that's also going to connect to exactly why Luke Skywalker took everything so seriously and went into exile the way that he did. Now, obviously, none of this was mentioned in the movies, so it may create a little bit of a continuity issue. Obviously, a lot of fans are going to nitpick at that, I'm sure. But one thing I will say is that when you look at the character of Mara Jade, she has a major influence on how Luke Skywalker develops as a character, and they're going to be using that more so because ultimately, you know, in Legends, if it weren't for Mara Jade, you wouldn't have had that amazing story of Luke becoming a father and teaching his own son to become a Jedi, Ben Skywalker, in Legends. So that's exactly what they are trying to re-explore right now, and by mid-2022, they're going to be introducing that into the Star Wars canon and eventually making their way into live-action form. So that's also another thing to look forward to as well. I would love to hear, you know, what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.